The Chicago Bulls are proving night in and night out that they have one of the deepest teams in the NBA, full of extremely talented players that are just beginning to hit their full strides together as a unit. This team has now won 9 straight games and have proved to the world that on any given night, any one of their players can step up and help them get the win. Last night's offensive explosion against the Washington Wizards saw 6 of their players score double digits, which was led by Zach LaVine's 27, and as a team, the Chicago Bulls shot 52.7% from the field and 45.5% from 3, numbers that make them look almost impossible to stop. We are witnessing firsthand just how good the number 1 seed in the East can be, and as this video goes on, I will unveil why this team is so dominant and how this could end up translating to some very solid playoff basketball down the stretch. Chicago has brought the basketball hype back to the Windy City, which has felt like almost ages since anyone has paid any attention to the Bulls, and I can tell you that this hype is real, and the Chicago Bulls are most definitely on a team that are on people's radars to make some moves for the Larry LB. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. The efforts from the Chicago Bulls this season and on this 9-game streak have not just come solely from their top 2 all NBA caliber guys in LaVine and DeRozan. Although those two have been amongst the top duos in the league, it has been a combined effort from the team who has been very solid on the defensive side of the ball and have relied upon the entire rotation to make key plays down the stretch. I recently made a video about DeRozan's play as of late after he hit those 2 buzzer beaters, so that video will also be in the description for you guys as I analyze DeMar's game in depth of how he's been able to transform his game, playing the best basketball of his career to lead the Bulls to the number 1 seed in the East. With all of the well-deserved DeMar hype this season, it has almost felt like people don't see the fact that Zach LaVine has had incredibly similar MVP conversation-like numbers to DeMar, paired with an incredible story on the evolution of his shot where he is now consistently shooting above 40% from beyond the arc. The other key starters on this team have been excellent pieces around both DeMar and LaVine, starting with Nikola Vucevic, who completes this team's so-called Big 3, has been the anchor on this team at the 5 as he averages a cool double-double on the year and has proved he can be relied upon to hold down the fort in the paint and in the pick and roll game on offense. Lonzo Ball is also possibly having the best year of his NBA career, as he has not only brought that exact same playstyle of being an incredibly dynamic playmaker from the Pelicans that affects the game in multiple ways, but he has consistently shown that he can be among the league's best on-ball defenders and above all has been lighting it up from 3, shooting a career high 41.6% from beyond the arc, which is actually funny enough better than his field goal percentage. Yes, we all wish Lonzo could shoot the ball better from the field, as that would be the factor that takes him to that next level, yet in this Bulls regime, this team is set up so beautifully to allow Lonzo to truly do what he does best, not having to worry about scoring the ball as much as he did in the earlier stages of his career. In hand has allowed him to feel comfortable on the court and let his game come to him instead of creating his own shots, which could be the reason he has unlocked his shooting stroke from 3, where he is now tied for 20th in the entire NBA in 3-point percentage while taking over 7.5 threes a game. Where Lonzo has come in terms of his 3-point shot could be a video on its own. What this starting lineup has been able to accomplish together has been incredible, as even if they haven't had the greatest of games from time to time, the veteran experience and leadership and the overall collectiveness of the guys on this team has helped them scrape out wins that could have gone either way when they are having an off night. This is a trait that is needed amongst top teams in the NBA, as you will have games where the entire team is struggling as a unit, and we saw this multiple times on this streak where we witnessed DeRozan's late game heroics to steal wins where most people believe they didn't deserve based on their play. The bench unit has also played a massive role in picking up the slack from the top guys on this team when they are having off nights, as Kobe White is playing some of the best basketball of his career as of late, which has been incredibly deserved as he's had a rough start to the season. He's had to overcome a torn labrum this offseason, season, which has made it difficult for him to find his place on this veteran Bulls team. This was then followed by an immediate shooting slump to start off his campaign, and then unfortunately had to miss a couple of games while being on the COVID-19 reserve list. He's looked like a completely different player after his last 4 games, and the Bulls are hopeful he can keep this play up, as he is proving to be a massive piece on this team. And lastly, Ayo Dosunmu, the 38th overall pick in this year's NBA draft, just had his best game as a pro, making 7 of his 9 shots coming off the bench last night, who looks to be a prime candidate to get an increased role as he gets more comfortable and continues to play like this off the bench. What's crazy to think is that despite the Bulls being on this 9-game streak, they have also had 2 very important players on their rotation missing in Alex Caruso and Patrick Williams, and I know that many teams are facing all kinds of problems from that regard. It is still very interesting to see how this team works out once they get back to full strength. This Bulls team has already shocked the mainstream NBA for those who didn't expect them to be at this level, as they made underrated pickup after underrated pickup these past couple of years to create a powerhouse from top to bottom. The Bulls do have a tough stretch of games coming up, so this will definitely be the test to show us truly how legit this team can be and potentially convert more of the non-believers to see what the hype is all about. Chicago is most definitely a city that deserves the amount of success they are having on the court, both by being such a historic franchise who has lacked any recent success, but also because of some of the players they have on this roster who are incredibly likable and have been underrated for the majority of their careers. The way this team is built is easy for many people to be fans of, as most of the guys on this team aren't the biggest names in the NBA and all have missions to prove to any of their doubters or the people who have slept on them over the years. Lonzo and Caruso are both guys that have been in many headlines in the past couple of years, being a part of the Lakers organization and playing alongside LeBron James, yet Lonzo still has so much to prove, as he was the 2nd overall pick who has been criticized many times for being a bust in large part due to the hype of his last name, and Caruso is also looking to prove that he's more than just a role player, as he is currently 2nd in the league in steals per game. The other guys on this team like Vucevic have been one of the most underrated players in the entire league, as he's spent the majority of his career on the struggling Orlando Magic. Zach LaVine is getting his first opportunity in the spotlight as well, finally being on a good team, and we all know where DeRozan is coming from, as he has been slept on his entire NBA career, playing for the Toronto Raptors and then getting traded to the rebuilding San Antonio Spurs. This roster is full of guys with chips on their shoulders, and not only are they talented, but you can definitely say a large part of NBA fans wouldn't mind seeing some of these faces celebrating with the NBA championship in their arms in June, as every single one of them deserve that opportunity to fight for it. There is no team more deserving of the success they're having right now, being through many down years as of late, and it's going to be exciting to see how long this team can keep this streak up and how far they can eventually go in the playoffs. That is going to be all for today's video about the Chicago Bulls, and if you did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button, as it does help out with YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more NBA content like this that I'll be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.